Here's some of the accessories you can get for your rat cage. My little girls are having a sleep now. I've put them in a small cage because I'm cleaning out their big cage. Now, I didn't mention last week, but you can sometimes pick up a second-hand rat cage, but check it very carefully before you buy it for rust, sharp edges, faulty door catches, and any accessories that are damaged. The accessories you can replace, so don't use anything that's cracked where rats could get caught up in, and also I would replace anything that's made of rope, fabric or wood. And with the tubes that often come with rat cages, these chains can be replaced, especially, if they're rusty, definitely get rid of them, but otherwise you can clean them up if they're just a bit dirty, but if it's rust, get rid of them. So once you've got your rat cage, which is going to be fairly basic to start with, probably 2 platforms and maybe a tube, you need to make it a bit more interesting for your rats and lots of places for them to hide and play. So we have actually 4 platforms in that house at the moment. When we put young rats into a big cage, we like to make sure they're safe, they're not going to fall from top to bottom. So lots of platforms, lots of flat hammocks to catch them to fill the gaps. Now the pink and grey shelves in there are the Furplast shelves. 2 came with the cage and 2 we purchased separately, and we've also, for our Mary cages, we've been using these Savic shelves which come with the ladder, which are quite good. They're called rat platforms. So once you've got the cage set up with your platforms in, you need to have a look at a house for your rats to sleep in. Now, we don't use wood houses, not because they get chewed, but because they will get stained with urine and really smelly and not very nice and hygienic. Same reason we don't use cardboard. And also with cardboard, if there is ink printing on the box, we don't know whether that is safe vegetable dye or not, so we avoid cardboard boxes. Now, the plastic that we use is all the Savic plastic houses because it's guaranteed non-toxic and safe. This is the circus house which we start our young babies in. It's also suitable for 2 rats. It has the 3 entrances, so the rats, the little ones especially, can constantly run in and out. We fill that with paper, lots of paper in there for them. They make a lovely nest inside. Comes apart, clips apart for cleaning, and you will have to clean that out every single day, wipe the base and replace the paper. When they're a bit bigger, or if we've got some older rats, they often like the igloo because that's a bit more, it's just one entrance, it's nice and dark in there, it's got some ventilation holes, comes apart again for cleaning, and again you'll need to wipe out the base and replace the paper every day. So that's the igloo. Now, all these houses come in lots of pretty colours, girl colours, boy colours and bright colours. Now our favourite house at the moment is the Roadie Tunnel, which simply lifts up for cleaning, has 2 entrances, and you can fit lots of rats in there, and we can also reattach our flexible tubes and use it as a floor toy. So that's very popular. That's the most expensive of our houses, but I think that's about £7, and the others are probably from £4 upwards. Now that's the Sputnik, which can be used freestanding, but we use it freestanding on the floor because in the cage we found the rats were knocking it over constantly. But inside the cage, what the Sputniks are really great for utilising the space from the ceiling of the cage. It just clips onto the top. But the rats love the Sputniks and they will all cram in and someone will fall out, so we always make sure there's a shelf or a hammock or a net to catch anyone that falls out. The scramble or cargo nets, they're a great fun toy for the rats to catch, climb up, or you can attach them like a hammock, so they're very popular. And the same with the rope that goes across the rope bridge, that just attaches to the outside of the cage. And hammocks I'll talk about in a minute, but you need lots of hammocks to fill in the gaps to stop your baby rats from falling. Now these tubes, say if these are rusty and you get second-hand tubes or they go dirty, you can't clean them, you can replace the chains, but they need to be cleaned regularly. The the chains and any hammock clips. These flat tubes, the straight tubes, can be attached inside the cage fairly low like that, and the rats will have great fun running through them and maybe go to sleep in them. Now if you have several tubes together, you can use them as a walkway from one level to another of the cage. Nice safe walkway, all enclosed so the rats won't fall, and they absolutely love those tubes. The cardboard tubes we only use as floor toys because they do get smelly in the cage. The other toys that the rats love, especially if you start them when they're fairly young, are the wheels. You need a big wheel, 12-inch wheel, so you don't hurt your rat's back. This is why the flying saucer wheel is so good, because it's open, although there is no gut holes, no gaps, nowhere for your little one to get their tail caught. And for baby rats especially, it's quite low to the ground, so if they balance on the edge and fall off, not far to fall at all. And this is the original wheel we had, which is also 12-inch. It's a silent whisper wheel, really nice wheel. Important thing with all wheels is that you see there's no gaps or holes, no slats, it's all closed in there, so nice and safe for the rats. We use that as a floor stand-in, but you can also take this little bit off the back and that will attach to the back of the cage, so that can be actually fixed to your cage as well. Just to mention quickly the litter tray, that was just something I mentioned last week that you can put in the corner of your house, makes cleaning out easier. Fill that with some substrate bedding. You can just use a toilet corner, but you know, if your rats will use the actual litter tray, that's good. Now hammocks, you're going to have several hammocks. Sorry, I'm going out of focus here. You need several hammocks for washing. So the flat hammocks are fairly cheap. I'd get quite a few if you can, because so you're going to have to change them regularly, and they're great for catching the baby rats in the corners of the cage so they don't fall. This is a bunk bed hammock, so the rats can get inside or they can sleep on top. That's very popular. And for the winter you can get these fleecy lined hammocks, and hammocks that are like little pouches, so they're quite nice as well. Now the other thing you're going to need is some chewing toys. Rats have to chew, and they're going to need wood all the time for chewing. And vary your different toys and things so they have some variety. You can get lots of these natural material balls for rats, and they absolutely love those. They come in different sizes. Lots of toys that are made of rope or rope and wood. And see, the rats really have a good chew at them. Willow sticks are quite popular, and you can get the wood chews that come in all different shapes and sizes, ones that hang from the cage, ones that attach to the cage, and because they are easy to keep clean. Now the thing with them, oh, there's one that's been chewed. The thing with wood chews is to make sure it's natural vegetable dye, so it's safe, and make sure your rats always have wood to chew and replace it regularly. Now the wood, when it's very dirty, is going to have to go, but the Good Bite chews, which we've been using, are natural cornstarch, and we give the rats one of these as well. And the advantage with these is they last longer, and you can rinse them off if they're dirty and dry them and put them back in the cage. But use those with wood if you're going to use them, not just on their own. Rats need lots of variety. Now the other thing I need to mention, you're going to need a carrier to bring your rats home in. Don't rely on the little cardboard ones they give you at pet shops. And these are the Savig Aladino. This is the size usually recommended for rats, which is fine for several young rats, or sort of three big rats easily fit in there. And this is the bigger size, which I use for 4+ rats. Now the two things to remember with this, I can't show you how to clip it in at the moment because you need 2 hands, but when you close these, there's a ledge around here, and your little rats, especially any rat, is going to put its little fingers in its nose, very inquisitive. You don't want to pinch their fingers, so give them a little treat to make them sit down, little piece of fruit or vegetable, something that they like. Get them to sit down. I wouldn't give them something like Cheerios, it's going to make them thirsty, because they're probably going to be in there a while if they're going to the vet or something. So give them a little piece of fruit or veg. When they're sitting down, you can close the lid. They come apart for cleaning, so quite easy. I've got 3 of these carriers, and make sure when you put them back together all the clips are in securely and the handles, and I would say just to carry them with the handle and your hand underneath. So there you go. There's just some of the accessories you can get for your rats.